Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV. We're here in
ready,
Telford.
Joe?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for an interview?
I'm always ready. What's going on with this music? Feels like we're in a club, not Telford.
We got a German fighting Friday night. We've got a bit of German techno on here up in Telford International Centre today. Mate, Friday night, Channel 5, DAZN around the world. Absolute throwback banger. We got England, Germany in the Euros, European Championship, number 1 versus number 2. Sam Eggington, the English warrior who don't know the reverse gear, against the cunning German tactician, actually pretty good puncher as well. So no penalties, none of that. Germany, England, live from Telford on Channel 5 and DAZN around the world. Friday night, going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, the term 50-50 is thrown about a lot by the likes of yourself, but this is an actual 50-50.
So, I am not saying it's a 50-50. Ladbrokes.com, who have rolled out the red carpet for me today, which I'm standing all over now. Can you see the red carpet? Can you just look, red carpet, Ladbrokes, go put your bet, Ladbrokes. It's a 50-50. It's not a Kalle 50-50. It's not me standing saying, oh, well, you've got to pick a winner here. No, go pick your winner on Ladbrokes and make some money.
When
Who's going to win?
When you signed the deal with Channel 5, were these the type of fights you wanted to put on terrestrial television? Great entertainment, because there is no way this is not going to be a great fight.
Well, you said it. You don't get many tries. We get 6 times a year to present boxing to millions of viewers around the country. Friday night is you put your hand in a fight, and this fight is going to be an absolute banger. First of all, Sam Eggington is never in bad fights, but it's the whole stage, the whole setup. You see it today here. This is a proper media day. You build it up like a big fight, and that's the way you also get into the fighters' minds how much this means. So Friday, not Saturday, Friday. Saturday we'll know the winner. Friday night, it's going to mean a lot for both. Not only the European title at stake, it's now also officially WBA eliminator for the World Championship. So it's all at stake. All at stake. And Sam Eggington has had a hell of a career. He's only 30, never in a bad fight. Abass, Barou, bronze medalist at the World Championships as an amateur, has come through the ranks. Fantastic talent. Boxing in Germany is dead at the moment. This is the man to resurrect it. So he's fighting properly for German boxing against an old English warrior.
Whilst he's
old, he's 30 years old.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy about people saying he's old as well. So, whilst it is a 50-50 fight, you must be confident in Abass, because it was announced yesterday that you have signed a new deal with him.
Nothing gets past you, Joe, eh? Well, you know, I'm not allowed to bet, so I've got to sort of put the contract on someone. We've also got options on Sam. But as Don King always said, come with a winner and go with a winner.
Yeah, well, you have, I think, promoted Abass from his very, very first fight. So he's someone that you've been on the journey with for a very long time, and he is a great talent. And it is that probably last test if he wants to get to that white world title. It
is. A couple of years back in lockdown, it was a strange time. He had a final eliminator, IBF final eliminator against Jack Kulkai, and came up very short in a very, let's say, a bit of a hot decision, but didn't really moan, just went back to the drawing board, worked very hard with Adam Booth over a couple of years, and has really, really improved again, although the levels we're talking here is, you know, he was in a very tough year. He won the bronze medal at the World Championships as an amateur, so he's top pedigree, but again, you know, Sam's been around in tough, big fights. So I get why they've made it 50-50.
Someone who returns to the ring is Matty Harris, this time with an addition to the camp of Peter Fury. Just how big is that going to be for Matty and his career?
I'd liken it to England getting Pep Guardiola. That's how high and I'm not a Man City fan. Mate, Peter Fury, together with Tyson Fury, rewrote the heavyweight division. People forget that. Peter Fury is one of the best, not only trainers, but boxing minds around. He's actually one of I'm not the biggest social media guy, but he's one of the people that I always like to follow on Twitter, now known as X. Yep. Don't want to get sued by Elon Musk. He's such a boxing guy. He knows it in and out. And yeah, listen, some of the best heavyweights have had slip-ups. Some of the best fighters had slip-ups early in their career. But it's really great to see where Matty's gone to must have been a very, very dark place. But he's made the right decisions, for me at least, you know. And Pete Fury is a huge addition, but it also shows the mindset of no, and I'm not going to. Often heavyweights, they make a mistake, stick with the same setup because it's convenient. Now heavyweights are the only weight class that don't have to make weight, which also means that their mindset's slightly different to the sport. They can be lazy. They can be just like, I don't know, comfortable. He's not going to put himself, Peter Fury's not going to allow him to go into a place of comfort, right? So I think it's a great link up and such a talent, Matty Harris. And that heavyweight division is currently reinventing itself in the UK because you've got names that are leaving us, names that are progressing, names that are finally fighting each other in Wardley Clark. One of them will go on, the other one will come back down to the domestic scene, let's say. And that's exciting, you know. And there's some good names coming through from the other stables as well, which is great to see, because we all need opponents, you know. And Matty Harris is going to have to go through them.
Certainly will do, and we'll find out how he does on Friday night with Peter Fury.
Dan Howard and Tom Welland, just two names. Dan Howard, Tom Welland. Make sure you watch them on the undercard. Fantastic talents coming through. Boom.
We'll give them a plug. Shout out Dan Howard and Tom Welland. Someone who I believe is, if not here already, going to be around this week is Harlem Eubank. Any news? When are we going to see him?
I thought you were going to say Chris Eubank Sr. Might be as well. You never know with Senior. He likes to pop up. When are we going to see him? Hopefully soon. I think we're trying to put this Lewis Ritson fight together. You know, things have to still be agreed. Certain things. I think the Ritson side's done. We're sitting down with Harlem at the weekend as well, and hopefully we can go out with that very soon because it's a great fight. It's a great fight. Simple as that. Listen, a lot of talk around Azim versus Dalton Smith. Amazing that they're going to finally do that fight. I think that's fantastic. I think both sides have now agreed that they're going to do the fight. And worst case, it goes down to a purse bid. But that fight's on. And, you know, we've had discussions with both sides about Harlem. But for us, our name is bigger. So we've had the bigger numbers, etc. So let them fight, and we'll fight the winner. And Ghidorah, isn't it?
Is that fight likely to land in Newcastle, Brighton, or a neutral venue?
Brighton was good, wasn't it?
It was a very good week.
So we'll see. But Brighton, I'd like it in Brighton again.
Surely the long-term kind of vision for not just Harlem but the Eubank name is to try and build up Harlem and maybe get one day in the Amex?
Absolutely. In fact, we've already had preliminary discussions there, so that's something that we want to do. And actually, we just talked about the winner of Azim, Dalton Smith. It's a good fight to land there. Senior's been very vocal about Conor Benn. I think that we'll just keep growing Harlem's name. Every fight he's matched tougher and tougher. And, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, Dalton Smith's better than him and this. Well, how do you know better than him? How do you know that? Who's Dalton Smith fought so far? Like, I get Dalton Smith's fantastic talent. We've had him on the show in Europe before. I've watched him. Very talented guy. So's Harlem Eubank. So's Adam Aziz. So let them all fight each other and we'll find out. I'm not the boxer, I'm just a promoter. So let them fight each other. But at the same time, I think most people will agree with me. If I walk down the road and say, do you know A, Adam Aziz, B, Dalton Smith, and C, Harlem Eubank, for whatever reason it is, I think everyone will say C, wouldn't they? Would they agree? Do you agree with that, Joe?
Put it in the comments. We'll find out.
No,
maybe.
I'm asking you. No comments. What would you say?
I asked the questions. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, Kalle.
Oh, you got out that one. Next time you ask me a sticky question, you know what I'm going to say? In the words of another famous promoter, don't ask me that question. Cut. Sorry, that was uncalled for, wasn't it?
It was very uncalled for, but yeah, definitely staying in.
You can ask me anything, and you'll get an answer out of me on anything. Will I always tell the truth? 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10, not.
No, 9 times out of 10, I'm truthful.
Before Harlem linked up with Senior, was you thinking about Conor Benn, or did that come to a bit of surprise to you when Chris summoned them all there? And
you look at the names, of course you do. You look at that area, but Senior has a very specific ideology behind that fight. I think you need to get that straight from the horse's mouth, because I think you did actually. I think IFL did, yeah. So, I think he's laid it out why he wants that fight, and listen, it makes a fantastic storyline for not the boxing public, for the general sporting public. It does. As simple as that, it does. But I think we're Conor's obviously through the whole, let's call it the saga, had his name propelled. His name is anyways through his great father, a great name. But he's also been built at a different pace in the past. We've only taken over Harlem for a couple of years now, so we're pushing him through, building his name. So that fight will happen. It will just be somewhere down the road. We don't know whether it will be the next 6 months or 5 years. I don't know.
Chris Eubank Jr. then, when are we going to see him back in the ring? It feels like he had a lot of momentum in September when he got that redemption win over Beefy, and now big fight.
Look, we spoke last night with Team Eubank, and we're in regular discussion. They know the options. They've said what they find interesting, what they don't find interesting. So the Canelo rumours, I think that's some of a red herring from someone on the other side of the pond. I'm not too sure about that.
No legs in that then.
No, I just think they've got. They're using a name in a negotiation. I've got a feeling. That's just my outside view on it. When you're stuck, you sort of throw in another name to confuse whoever you're negotiating with. Cinco de Mayo, they're always going to go with another Latino, really, aren't they? But I disagree with some of the comments made about the economics of that fight, because the economics would be unleashing a lot of pay-per-view buys in the UK. So actually, commercially, the fight is very interesting for everyone. But I get it, Cinco de Mayo, pretty sure they've got the opponent tied up already, and this is all part of a big spin, but who knows?
So there's been no firm discussions with Team Canelo?
No, not from our side, no.
Kell Brook?
We've spoken to Kell, yeah. Yeah, no, that's, it's a great fight. Super interesting fight. Do big business in the UK, and it's certainly an option on the table.
And if not, are you looking down that Janibek, because he does obviously want the world title?
I think that's one for Eubank or Team Eubank to answer. We can just say what's possible, what's not possible. He wants the big nights. Is Janibek a big night? Yeah, I think it is. Is it the level of night in the UK that a Kell Brook fight is or a Conor Ben fight is? No, probably not.
Does a Chris Eubank Jr. versus Janibek fight land on a pay-per-view platform?
If it's in the UK, most certainly. If it's in the US, we'd have to look at it.
Just
It depends on the timing and stuff like that.
Josh Kelly, when I spoke to you in Leeds at Misfits, you teased a very, very, very big fight.
Very exciting, huh?
Yeah, are you still excited? It's still happening?
I'm still very excited, but you know, bang! You know, it's like bang. It's just boxing, isn't it? Lucky I didn't tease you with the name. I mean, me and you, off camera, sort of knew what we were talking about, but yeah, it's still there. It's still there. I'm going to make a projection here. 10 days. 10 days.
There's a cut-off point. If it's not done in 10 days, it's not going to happen.
I'm going to a little caveat here, right? There has, unfortunately, what people don't see is you have a date like the Fury Usyk fight move, and then you say, what's that got to do with Josh Kelly? Well, I'll tell you what it's got to do. When you try and put in a big UK fight, clearly nothing matches, undisputed heavyweight world championship. So unfortunately, when that moves, other big fights are also affected. It's as simple as that.
So, Josh Kelly versus insert big name was potentially done for May 18th, and now you can maybe some renegotiations
around May 18th, but it's one we're just trying to work out at the moment. But it's not only the actual physical date of it; it's the budgets of the TV channels and the different. I'm not saying what channel it's going to land on, but it just affects a lot of different things.
Finish off on some Misfits madness. It was just announced a 2-on-1 handicap match in Nashville. That's how it's been built, a 2-on-1 handicap match.
It's basically one fighter who's fighting two guys who can tag each other, right? So it's
So it is a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Listen, it's wildness, it's madness. It's all conformed to the rules. It's all done by the commissions of the United States before people start shooting this down. It's fully licensed. It's fully insured. It's fully medical. It's got all the medical requirements. But it's another one, isn't it? It's like we had last year. We had two opponents in one night. We had tag team boxing, survivor tag. Look that one up. Mystery opponents up in Leeds, which worked fantastically. I thought that was very good to see. Even you say it's very good. And then, they do these concepts. The numbers they do are frightening. It's just mad. And it's entertainment. Again, take it for what it is. Entertainment, people. Don't get carried away. Don't get all aggressive. Don't get all angry here. It's entertainment. It's entertainment in using the sport of boxing and make it entertaining for a wider audience, let's say.
Has Mams ever come up to you with a wild idea and you've gone, no, that's too far?
Absolutely. On an hourly basis. I will say, I remember when the opponent of KSI pulled out Alex Wasabi at the time, we just sold out the O2, and 3 weeks before a pay-per-view, your main event opponent pulls out. In traditional boxing, it's game over. We saw it with Joshua Helenius. Yep. So it's off pay-per-view. You can look to keep the fight night, but you're done, right?
Original Ben Eubank didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's not possible, is it? So not in the world of Misfits. No, I get a call from Mams and KSI. Right, we're going to do two opponents in one night. I said, sorry, I was abroad. And I'm like, what? I said, no. What do you mean? Like, what? One opponent a week later? Or no. 4 hours later. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. Anyway, So Mams is very clever at the old politics. So he got on side one of the TV execs. It's Joe Markowski. Yeah. And I've had the TV. Joe's called me up, said, "Yeah, like there's 2 fights in one." I said, "Joe, no, it can't happen. Well, because what happens if he loses the first fight?" I said, "People will obliterate us. If you bought a pay-per-view and you can't watch the main event because the main event's actually lost in the first fight of the evening, and the arena will be empty. It's a stinking idea." Anyway, they worked me. I said, "Jeff, well, I'm not the one fighting. I'm not the broadcaster." So I got outvoted on that one. I've turned up to the venue. I'm thinking this place is going to be absolutely dead for the first fight. Turn up, there's roadblocks. We had to put 15-minute delay because the police said it was like the Beatles had arrived. We had the place was rammed. There wasn't a seat in the house, and the O2 full, 19,000 people full, up to the last seat for the first fight. The atmosphere at 6 p.m. in the venue was like 11 o'clock on a normal fight night. Insane. At that moment, I just said, right, I think I'll keep my comments limited to certain areas, and on the concepts, I leave it to my comments coming on a pure boxing side of things.
Wayne Rooney, is he going to be in a Misfits ring? He was a good fighter, great player, but is he going to be a good fighter?
I think Wayne is the fella in a football shirt who you'd always think that fella can have a row. You look at Wayne and think he can have a tear up. And yes, there was that viral video where he got sparked. Phil Barnes. Yeah. So I'd say it's intriguing. The weird thing is, I haven't actually spoken to Wayne about it, and I've met Wayne many times over many years, around boxing, not around boxing.
But they were interesting.
Yep. Wayne, if you're watching, south of France, say no more. He's a cracking fella, and he would fit like it would be a bullseye for Misfits. But at the same time, mate, he's got to work out what he's doing. If he's got the time for it or not. He's not going to want to half do it. You're talking about the Manchester United and England captain who's won everything. He's a winner. So he's not going to turn up and do Misfits. Oh, well, make a few million quid on that and, just rock up and be 55 stone and look like shit and get beaten by a YouTuber. He's not going to do that, is he? He's got plenty of pounds in the bank. He's a clever guy. He's got a great family set up around him. We have good advice on it. So he'll make the right decision, whatever that decision is. The door is open, Wayne. The door is open.
If it were to happen, would it be another footballer, or would it be a likes of KSI? I know Eddie Hearn joked about Jake Paul at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't hear. Did Eddie say that?
Yeah, he said he wants to promote. He wants to promote Wayne Rooney versus Jake Paul at Old Trafford. He said. Oh, that's good. You're trying to wind me up now, aren't you? No, he genuinely did say it. I'll go on video.
I'll call him straight after this. I'll ask him. Don't piss on my turf.
We've got a better relationship with the Zone.
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we? But joking aside, it's something you put him in against someone who's also a novice. You can only do that. It's not like you can match make in Misfits boxing. Let me go look at that amateur fight of his. What amateur fight am I going to look at of Wayne Rooney's? None. So you've got to look at first of all that they meet the medical requirements, then the weight requirements, and then you look for someone who's got a similar sort of background, i.e. no fights. So maybe one fight or 2 fights or something. But that's that's what you'd be looking at, and if it wins that, then you could springboard to a KSI or a Jake Paul, and whatever it is.
John Fury, Joe Egan, is it happening?
I've asked a lot about this John Fury. I've even got people telling me they're agents of John Fury, and I mean, Big John's on my speed dial, so I don't need you agents. No, listen, again, we'd all watch it, but it has to be done in the safest possible way. It has to be medically passed, etc. Yeah, it's interesting, you know. I still can't believe people actually thought I was going to do Carl Froch against John Fury. I mean, phenomenal. There must be a £100 weight difference. But not £100, but 70, 80 pound. I'm just guessing Carl's not at 168 anymore.
How many pay-per-view buys would Carl Froch versus John Fury do?
More than any of Carl's actual boxing career fights. Sorry, Carl. No, I'm joking. Carl in the end was a very big seller. Do well. I'm not going to say a number.
Right. Finally, next week is Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. How do you see the fight playing out?
Okay, let me put my head on for a minute.
Take away Misfits. We're back to the boxing, yeah.
Yeah, so let me come back to seriousness here. Joshua wears him down, stops him 8th, 9th round. That's the serious side of it. Now, I start thinking, right, he's put Tyson Fury on his ass, right? The guy can clearly bang. So the first 2-3 rounds, super interesting, super exciting, and I just think that Joshua takes over. But in those 2-3 rounds, don't blink. Do not blink. Like literally blink in the breaks, right? Because during the round, you don't want to blink. It's going to be absolute mayhem. So yeah, I'm super excited for it. Yeah.
Excellent, Kalle Sauerland. Thank you very much for being to IFL TV. Tune in Channel 5 for Eggington, Barou and DAZN around the world.
Thank you very much. Yeah, DAZN around the world, Channel 5 in the UK, live this Friday night.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.